Baby, before you get started, say, Happy Gemini New Moon.
Happy Gemini New Moon.
Exactly. Exactly, proper. Hello, beautiful studio. I told you we'd be back again today on some crazy shit. Excuse the bundled up frequencies. It's fucking cold in this bitch. Titties, what's up, bro? Titties, we did so much moving around, bro. Let's not. Okay, anyways. So, happy Gemini New Moon. I am so thrilled to be here. We are in like once in a lifetime astrological super new moon fucking frequencies right now. So, you know we had to come on proper onto the studio and make sure you guys get it. You already know. I mean, I feel like I have so many Gemini new moons recorded already. In the Virgo Saint series, I can at least think of one, and that one was iconic. That was when we were at the Otis Hotel, and we were having a whole fucking drug-induced cosmic fucking, oh my god, the astrocartography of where we're standing. We were like at this hotel that's like on campus, like on UT's campus, and my mom went to UT, so we were like having this whole fucking like, and then it's funny because like directly outside of the window in that video, if you go back and watch it, one of the first places we went on a date, like I took Dennis to this cafe one time, and it was right outside the window of the room we were staying in. Titty's about to come and say what's up. What's up, Titties? I knew you were gonna take my terror space or whatever, bro. Titty's obsessed with working for Tethered Studios. Are you trying to be on the roster? Are you trying to be a Rastafari on the roster? Are you trying to be there? You want to work on the payroll? You know, your face card definitely doesn't decline, Titties, so funny. Okay. Fabulous. All right, we're doing Gemini glasses today because I felt like it. It's like proper. Okay. Yeah, we're just gonna do our usual schmoozle. How are we feeling though, for real? We have so much plans today. We got like woken up and like I proper don't know what's going on in the Gregorian calendar, but it's like Memorial Day in the States, so we like woke up and like people were like, we got vegan glizzies for tonight, and I was like, period, and I'm over here like get some extra elote because you know we're about to go crazy with this shit today. So I'm pretty sure later we'll be off the loggies, off the fucking shit, celebrating whatever the fuck Memorial Day symbolizes. So let's just say today on the studio we're fucking celebrating ourselves. We're celebrating the Gemini new motherfucking moon. So that's fucking phenomenal. But yeah, I think right now, the best thing that I can do is just really kind of keep this one back and true to the incoming messages of the time. Like I said, actually, no, I don't have my mind right now, but I would look up the time specifically that the new moon is fully exact. But whatever, it doesn't really matter.
Actually,
but the time?
Yeah.
Shout out to our studio assistant. Hitting us with the timestamp. Titties is like you on a lethal fucking destroy everybody's production day run. Like, you open your fucking workstation up, he's gonna sit on your keyboard, he's gonna rip out your fucking hard drive, he's gonna fucking shit on your fucking terrace spread.
I guess it doesn't say the exact time right now, but
It's in my bio. It doesn't matter. I don't really care if you don't have the time.
Yeah, but
I was only interested if you had the time. But it doesn't matter. Right now, we're just going to do the readings. It doesn't matter. Okay. So, gonna just go ahead and do our crystal resonance tarot deck to get the overview.
11:02.
So we, okay, great.
PM.
Oh, PM. Okay, great. PM? Okay. Okay. Thank you. Shining Kathy in the corner. Okay, so. I feel like that's Gemini new moon shit, bro.
Titties is good Gemini. Oh wait, actually Titties is the Capricorn.
Titties is the Capricorn, yeah. So anyways, I'm proper freezing, so I'm sorry that it's gonna have to give Gremlin. Y'all know this goddamn sweater. It's the only fucking sweater I fucking own. Anyways, okay. So let's go ahead and just open up to channel messages. I'm just gonna start with some gratitude. I'd like to thank Creator Prime Source for allowing me to be here today. You know, I never take for granted my opportunities to create meaningful work out in the world. And that is what I'd like to talk about. Ooh, Gemini, new moon, huge frequency, the meaning of our work. Oh, yeah, proper. I mean, we've been talking about it. Scorpio pretty much flattened out the fucking fraudulent shit. And so, you know, I think right now so many people are getting to evaluate the intellectual integrity of the things that they consume. So like I said, I am just grateful on this day that I don't fucking take people's consciousness for fucking any reason, whether it's my own fucking initiative to become the richest bitch on the planet. I would never do it by stealing people's consciousness. I would never do it by being a raggedy fucking demon and broadcasting that shit, because I want to say something. I want to say something to know. You guys need to understand something. I can tell you girls never went to fucking journalism school. You don't know shit about broadcast. So I'm not with certain aspects of the shit proper. That are stemming from a lack of source education, right? Like anything that is without actual real actual educational process. Like we don't need false prophets, and that's one of my biggest traumas as a child, growing up as a preacher's kid, or as someone who's in the esoteric sciences, is really toting that line. And as a family, there was so much checks and balances to continually make sure that we have ways to hold ourselves accountable to the way that we embody the work that we do. And because again, on this channel, we always talk about you don't preach unless you have to. And the circumstances you see me under now, when I talk about having one fucking sweater, right? When I talk about being evicted or living out of my car, or currently still being in homelessness, is not my home, right? These are the things that I will use to reinforce that so much of what I do here on this channel, on this stream of consciousness, on this recording, has to do with the realities of having to do this, there's a lot of things that I feel like Saturn and Aries and Gemini season are asking me to expand upon. And I want to just really reiterate the dangers at this time of wildly chasing innovation without understanding proper alignment to whomst these innovations should be rightfully explored by. Because anytime something expands, there has to be mastery first, right? In order for you to go to fucking 3rd grade, you have to pass 2nd grade. And at this time, so much of this age of Pisces spent out, some of these dead, dying demigods that many of us have been religiously supporting at this time, are leading many of you, whom I believe are innocent in your convictions, to earnestly do what you were always told, right? To grow up and believe that people had your best interest at heart, to grow up and believe that people who stand in some sort of star archetype. When I talk about the star archetype on this channel, I talk about people that we can all align with, have some sort of destiny to bring forward some sort of information that connects in a humanitarian way. That is something we can consider a star. It could be anyone that makes it to a scale of the 11th house, right? To where we're all looking at it, to where there's an audience now, right? So a lot of times as consumers of those things, or as people who witness art, or who witness, these star archetypes out in the world, when we're in the position of taking that in, we always just blindly assume that these people have, like I said, I suppose subconsciously, I think we assume that something has ordained them to do this. And I think we're seeing in a pretty humiliating and public way all over the place right now, all throughout this globe right now, just how many fucking monkeys in the fucking barrel we have running some of our most premier and positive industries and innovations as a human race. And as a member of society, as a person, as a member of this globe, I want to let you all know that you should feel the same way that I do, that these things, these innovations belong to all of us. Every lifetime you've ever lived, you've come and you've laid some sort of brick that allows us to arrive at innovations that we have, the technologies that we have. So any one of us could have been a big part of what has arrived here in this amalgamation of all of our contributions. And so it does belong to the public, the discourse and the pushback and the much needed critique on, are we going to let things that belong to the public, to all of us, these innovations, these new industries, these beautiful creations that humanity has now pioneered, are we going to allow those to be run into the ground by individuals who truly at the end of the day are not qualified to hold the responsibility? And most importantly, it isn't about a them versus us or whatever. I actually am trying to protect the experience of the person who is fraudulently playing in these roles that they were not called to play in, mostly because they're usually going to be exposed by the truth that is. But on top of that, mostly it's about the experience. Like at this time, you're also seeing anyone who I told you, who was doing the deceptive tour, and never came off it, never got honest about the authenticity of their real path and their real call. at this time, they are suffering publicly. They are being publicly crucified. And it doesn't matter right now if the group thought has not ascended enough to realize that even if we're all paying attention to the same things, we are laughing at it. We are judging it. We are pretty much reflecting and exacerbating the wounds that these individuals carry within, you know, to continue to put themselves in these self-harm cycles. I say this from awareness. I say this because I remember being way too young, being a child, in fact, and not having proper support and having the covenant broken that these people who were given me to bring me into form and to keep me protected till I could actualize my actual destiny, my own purpose. You know, when that isn't done, we get all of these children who, in my opinion, have no perception on the length of life, have no perception on their journey, because I see so many wounded children right now who are coming into proper legal adulthood, who are now, you know, trying to satiate or fill these giant gaps of spiritual needs, you know, with these old world frameworks and mentalities, right? Like, if we just blow through absurd amount of money at this time because of what our new, you know, alien-like generations can really bring down now that we're not in certain boxes of consciousness, you know, maybe that's the most important thing. And at this time, I just feel like the Gemini new moon, I really want to be the voice of responsibility, you know, as fun as so much of life can really be. The most important thing to understand at this Gemini new moon is like your journey to the thing. Success, achievement, finished products, you know, innovation, design, all of these spaces are truly so important, so pivotal, so phenomenal. Titties agrees. But at the same time, really at the end of the day, the thing that molds what you attract and what comes next for you has to do with how your journey feels to you. And so much of Virgo Saint North Node specifically, which is like one of the first and easiest programmings that Tethered Studios could commit to producing for life, as long as Virgo Saint wanted to be put on and sponsored by Tethered Studios, it was always going to happen. But okay, tits McGee, let's do that. Okay. But, you know, at this time, so much of what I really want to talk about is like how it really feels, you know, because at this point, I think we've proven it. We can just about see people do anything, you know. We went from fucking mukbangs and challenges and dances and every type of, you know, attention grabbing form of entertainment just to show that we can entertain ourselves with pretty much fucking anything at this time. So then what's really left when money can get you anything at this point, that in terms of experience that you want to experience, then what is the common thread between everything that we are witnessing now in our media sphere, you know, as because we're talking about Gemini, right? What's left of it is really like what that actually feels like for the user, right? For the person who actually is on set, who is filming or who is streaming or who is doing whatever it is like what is really there. And I feel like what's juxtaposed with this Gemini new moon and this Sagittarian axis is, you know, Sagittarius tells our Gemini friends is like, take all the things that you just learned and now you'll need to turn it into wisdom. So I think at this Gemini new moon, you might be seeing a lot of people being initiated through learning experiences, right? So a lot of, I'm hearing like piloting things for the first time. Let's test this out. Let's see how this goes. And, you know, the real winners under this Gemini new moon are the ones who are going to be able to plant seeds based on their understanding that they will have to derive wisdom from this. So I also want to give a big PSA. Anything that you choose to voluntarily learn in this life, go for it and do it how you want to do it. The destructive path, the fucking liberating path, however you want to do it, you can get your learning and evolve your soul. But just know that this Gemini new moon brings a serious sort of, like I said, a more of a sobering undertone because everything that you're choosing to study and learn from that you've initiated under this new moon, you will in 6 months' time be reaping the wisdom from it. So let's just say right now you're doing something that seems like a great idea, but maybe you're in your toxic era, so you're, you know, whatever, you're a little messy, you haven't really been doing the internal upkeep and maintenance. It's fine. There's not any judgment. I'm just giving you an example. But say you go forward and you and your friend group are like, oh, this will be a really good idea. Let's all go do 2-week camping trip in fucking Sedona, Arizona, and we're gonna go fucking to national parks. We're just gonna do drugs and we're gonna do whatever, right? And let's just say you and your friends have never done like a actual national park camping trip before, so you're like, it's our first time, blah, blah, blah. So let's say you do that under the Gemini, and you're like, we're gonna do whatever, blah, blah, blah. So let's say however that camping trip goes, 15-15, for you and your new friends. In 6 months' time, the wisdom that Sagittarius will be giving you will be based off of how that experience went. But let's just say, you know, if you're on the trip, if you're going from like, let's say a low vibration, and there's like, I get this very big PSA that I really want to give to people. And I think the PSA is not really, unfortunately, isn't really going to be one that was going to be like preventative, because it is the day of the new moon. But I do feel like there's a big homage that in 6 months' time, the things that were happening right now, I am hearing the words literally from spirit, secondhand embarrassment. Secondhand embarrassment. Because Sagittarius from Gemini is like, whatever you chose to learn, you will own the wisdom from that learning. And again, we don't ever judge. We listen and we don't judge. But again, I just feel like personal secondhand embarrassment is something that's very possible with Gemini, right? It's very possible to show your ass. It's very possible for a Gemini to be in a space where they truly are not aware. Like, because with Gemini, I think the biggest thing is the first air sign is going to be initiated through perception, right? Through like, I'm putting in this input, but it's completely out, because Gemini is learning how to come into wholeness, because they're literally the zodiac sign that has been split in half. So like, they're trying to get in touch with the other twin to understand what the whole framework really looks like. And so a lot of times Geminis are initiated through like opposing perception. And so at this time, I think people could be getting, if you're, say you're like an attention-based person, like you're like, most of what you do in a day is just about getting attention, like just that vibration, like, and the attention can quantify to like, the more attention I get, the more dollars I make, whatever the incentive for looking for attention is. But like, say you're someone who's like, actually like, in the day I'm looking for attention. When we're working with Gemini is low vibration, like looking for attention in the things that we're pursuing and that we're learning, like learning about new things because we want more attention. You will always be able to derive that. Like, you'll always be able to know with a Gemini if what they're doing, like the incentives for why we're doing the educational pursuit that we're going through. So again, when I really want to remind you all that like, when you're working with Gemini energy, it does turn into wisdom. I think that's just the thing that I want people to understand, because I'm seeing a lot of examples flood right now, but because my messages are universal and like long, like they're eternal, and they just whatever, I don't need to really cite any particular happening that maybe is in the front of my mind. But just like I said, like if we go on a camping trip and we've never done it before, and that's something we initiated in the Gemini energy signature, and in this, when we get to the other side of the ecliptics, when we're in the Sagittarian energy, you will feel whatever you learned at this time, you will be in the wisdom of it. So say you're really misaligned at this time, because we talked about it, right? We talked about like, you know, misalignment and continually doing that is not going to be a good look right now. Like, you can definitely tell instantly, especially if you've been on this channel, your discernment is probably on fucking Tinsky. And misalignment is just rough right now. It's you're not getting away with it. And especially for people who are still, I don't even know, but if you're really still asleep and you're still really not conscious, that like everyone is awake now. Everyone knows what people who steal consciousness look like and are doing. So people know now what consciousness is, and they know that it belongs to them, and they know that they shouldn't just be giving it up. So now all of your audiences, it has a different perception than what maybe you thought they used, where you think that you're doing something they don't know. So I'm just saying, we're getting like all media right now, it's like, it's just so like see-through in a very uncomfortable way. And you know, if you're an adult who has done, I mean, any bit of self-reflection, we also all know like what a child looks like when they've been abused, like when they obviously were like, they need help, they need more resources. Like this person, like we know what happens when there's, I mean, it's systemic. You can go to therapy and they'll fucking tell you like the narcissistic paradigm. I mean, there's just like textbook definitions of like these types of tropes and behaviors that come out of people when they have the same type of wounding. And so kind of like yesterday when we were talking about our Saturn and Aries transit talk, and when we were kind of having, you know, the breakdown of like, dude, I mean, when I'm looking, like when I go up to people, like, okay, because I'm proper plant-based, right? So for me, my consciousness is so clear about certain things. So like I said, you know, when I go up to people, I'm thinking about how much rotten flesh is in your fucking bowels. That's the kind of thing right now, is like, you know, when you're not in it, and this is what Gemini, because Gemini is so in it, right? So I want to give this to you, I'm a Gemini, I get it, and I'm 20, I've been through every iteration of the fucking vibration, low and high, throughout my life. And I just want you to know, like, Gemini is always going to be the person that's in it, but Gemini is the person that's like, oh shit, did I just wake up and like, oh, what the fuck was I on last night? And I feel like right now, during 2025, I hate to break it to people, but like, if you're having like public mess during 2025's Gemini Sag axis, anything, the wisdom is going to be heavy. Like the wisdom you'll have in 6 months from looking back, because it may not even be what you're doing, but it's what else is in the field. Because again, we talked about Saturn and Aries broke the code. There is no code now. So we're going back to decode. So now we're just in the field. And so now that we're all just in this electromagnetic fields again, per our natural birthright, titties. Let's keep it moving, babes. You gotta go. Okay. So now that we're back in the electromagnetic field, I think people who were in the narcissist paradigm don't actually hold other experiences. Like they can only hold just like what it is they put their output. So through these next 6 months, I want you guys all to just be aware, to know this, to spread this around to communities, and like to connect with the people in your real life. You guys will be becoming aware of like, oh shit, like it's not even like maybe that something you did is titties, Jesus Christ. But it's not even that something that you've done particularly is maybe like the worst, most embarrassing, like, well, it's not even about that. But it's actually, I think some of you are not prepared for how the context around, like, this is definitely that 2025 is that year where like people who like frauds who were like, oh, we're up, bro, we're running the markets. And then this would be the year that like the niggas who actually come out and actually are like lapping you, who are like just letting you hold some facade. This would be the year where you realize you've been lapped like 40 times. Like the innovations that some people think they're pioneering right now have like been done before. And I hate to say this is something that I feel like a lot of, when people transition to a older generation and now they're looking at newer generations, they always say this, because new generations, what do we always think? We think everything is new under the sun. We think like, you know what I mean? Like we think we created everything. We think we invented everything. And like, this shit is not new. You know, I always cite that here. Like even what I do here, like my dad's a proper boomer, born in 57, proper rock star, proper rocker. And the guy has been talking about, not just talking, he has been living in the age of Aquarius for like over 40 years. And, you know, he was the first, he was like demon slaying and shit, like at the grocery store publicly. Like he would be like casting out, like calling out like dark entities and shit. Like this guy was extremely esoteric. My childhood was wild. I can't even explain it to you. Because he's not really a preacher. That's just like kind of like whatever. So, but he really does run a healing and deliverance ministry, and watching that as a child is exactly what I do here. It's like funny that I like literally do, if you knew it's like I do the exact same thing that he does in practice, which is just energetic work. And so, you know, it's like that. Like I'm Gen Z, and I feel like you can see so many people, you know, in these newer generations who like when they like come to consciousness about something, they're like, yo, ski, I just made the craziest fucking concept up. And you can tell they've never like talked to a proper elder in their life, like anyone older than them. They've never like actually sat with like any, because just nothing, like everyone has already done everything. Like even the formula of this studio, even what I do here, I always let you know, I'm not like, there are millions of tarot readers. There are millions of people who do, I mean, there are millions of my peers. Like I am also a tarot watcher. Like I also watch my guys. I have my favorites. I have my team. I've had people that I've watched tarot for now at this point, 6-7 years, you know, that have just really supported my evolution, my growth, my understanding, my learning, and my education. Like you can't be this fucking good of a teacher without having your own educational like resources. So I could talk to you about my influences, but again, I feel like Gemini can get there, right? Like Gemini, if Gemini comes to, because Gemini is hella knowledgeable, absolutely, because they're very curious for knowledge, but they are still like student knowledge, you know, it's like a student giving a book report, and you would just never want it, because Sagittarius is like your teacher, right? I'm a 9th house stellium, that's the house of Sagittarius. And so I just feel at this time there is a huge funny power dynamic that's being displayed for all of the kids who have inner student woundings, who actually like in their mind are like grouping together and think they're like smarter than the teacher. And then the teacher is doing this funny thing where karma is having the teacher kind of set up this stage where the students get humbled and need to realize, like, I'll see you next period because you guys don't know as much as you think. You know what I mean? And I think I just want to give that PSA that, like, the highest vibration of this Gemini new moon at this time is for the folks who have a really positive relationship with, you know, the education pipeline. Understanding that if you are ever fortunate enough, to have yourself in a student position in any way, from anything, whether you're a student of life or an actual, like, academic organization or institution, you know, there is such a level of respect for life experience. And I think, you know, when we are giving very powerful tools to, you know, very liberated souls and very, you know, bright minds, there's a lot that there's a big need for accountability, especially from people who come from the generation. So that's what I do, right? Because I'm not some geezer. I'm not some old head. I'm actually with the guys. You know what I mean? I'm one of the youngsters. But I am talking from experience because I was very fortunate. Like I said, 9697, we have this very fortunate experience where we did still get indoctrinated with old world information. So we do have a respect and rapport for, like, how you do have to build the structure. And, you know, one thing that I can say that my specific class and generation, like Dennis and I and our peers, we're really fortunate for is that, like, we are super mad successful because we do still respect that you do need to be able to have some concept of mapping out a journey. Like, right now, the floor is open. Like, right now, you have to be really disciplined with yourself. Like, a lot of people think, like, oh, Alexis, like, she's brokey. That must mean, but, like, a lot of this is choice. Like, a lot of this is me being like, dude, I am 28. And this is hard. This is where we needed parents to be there to space out, like, life experience and to make sure that we protect our children to have child experiences. You know what I mean? To not just immediately be in the adult realm of things when they themselves have not actually even gotten to have experiences that allow a child to come out, feel safe, and identify itself for what it really is. And right now, I feel so called to talk about that sensitivity where right now to have sacrificed the journey for anything is gonna feel very scary, very, very end of the world paradigm, because the journey is actually the only thing your parent was supposed to, like, fucking make you feel comfortable in. And this is why so many children at this time have to be no contact, because, you know, we can't have these parents that are fucking going to being the antithesis of what God really needs, which is making you feel like there is no journey. Like with my mom, it was like, what the fuck are you doing? You just need to hurry up and go fucking get $1. You need to go fucking get $1. And I was like, okay, well, you act like you didn't fucking have a baby at 21 proper. And you act like you weren't the fucking class harlot with a fucking baby on your hip at graduation in college. Like, I'm not even making those fucking mistakes, you know? I'm doing everything very slow and steady. And I try to tell them, like, I just want the right to be 28. You know, I don't like getting around these senior guys who be 50-something, 60-something, 70-something, fucking feeling bigger or proper because they're fucking doing laps because they just bought a house and now they like to go up to 28-year-olds and be like, ha, you don't have a house? What the fuck are you doing? And I'm like, babe, what were you doing at 28 other than fucking having your second child? Fucking doing nothing with the unfucking, yeah. So again, to me, I'm really pro making sure that, like, my generation, my people know, dude, the most important thing you have your, like, and this is one of the things that I with late stage capitalism that's really difficult for me, because I am a Taurus moon, so there is truly in my spirit, there's nothing to do. There's truly, like, nothing to build, nothing to make, nothing to nothing, you know? And I think one of the worst things is, like, humans really trading their existence for this concept of, like, what are we making? What are we making? What are we making? What are we making? What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I making? What am I building? You know, and we have such a fucking pressure of this, like, productivity, but of, like, not the proper perspective. Like, you know, there's plenty of things to be productive about your health and well-being and your spiritual vitality. But with this, like, current landscape, it is sacrificing so much more than we can really afford. And it's not about making spectacle of people. Like, I feel deep sadness in my spirit because it's just yet another example of all of these children who have been severely let down by the previous ages of consciousness that we were coming from. And the most important thing for me, and the thing that I want to do here with this message, I guess 29 minutes in, is just, like, make sure that you know, like, Tethered Studios is a truly safe space, and it is made for the sick. It really is. It was made in honor of my generation of kids who had the most fucked up, weirdest, fucking botched 90s existence that you could probably have. And nobody talks about it. And nobody talks about these fucking boomers and Gen Xers who fucking popped out these 90s babies and, like, what the fuck was going on? Like, you know, there was a war on black. I mean, it's just like there were so many chemicals poured into my fucking baby's scalp before I could even breathe it just because of, like, Ronald Reagan and shit, like, crazy shit, you know? It's like, And who knows like why the fuck I'm the way I am now, because of the shit that like that just people just did. There was just so much non-choosing going on and for our generation. And so I made this studio because like, you know what, I don't want to laugh at my guys. You know, I really, with the secondhand embarrassment thing, I really don't even want to see my guys doing like crazy shit out of wounding, you know? I hate to see all these fatherless children. I hate to see all these motherless children. I hate to see all these parentless children. And, you know, there's so many aspects of what we're enabling right now in these young bucks that is not what they need. And, you know, this world will spit you out. And I'm talking to my guys directly. I'm not talking about nobody who's old. I'm talking about to my guys who are young adults at this point, you know? One of the things is like, I'm here for you, and I'm really like truly a real, not just a friend, like a family, you know, I'm really a family member to you, because I don't want you to continue to make this choice because of the set of choices you think you have. You know, some of the lifestyle choices that we're making that are just burning our planet to the ground, continuing to fuel this disgusting churning of like hyper consumerism, and truly also just decimating the arts. You know, all of these things are happening because of the lifestyles people are permitting themselves to live without any checks and balances, without any sort of spiritual rapport that says this cannot happen, not for you. And so Gemini New Moon, I want to make this very much an invitational. You know, I'm so hopeful that, you know, people in private, without running, I don't care. I have never cared about a number. I have never cared about I don't need anything from you. You guys are hella fucking late if you find this shit, in terms of like how you could have helped me. Been homeless for fucking years now. But, you know, this archive I wanted to make somewhere anonymously where people can go and heal themselves in private with the proper reflection and with the accountability of a Virgo, being like, you got to clean it up. Not because we're judging, because you will die if you don't. And you don't want to do that because you want to live. And I'm someone who knows that if you're drinking, smoking, fucking, ducking, shucking, living grown, you want to live. You know, I don't see that as people who want to destroy their lives. Even if it is a destructive thing you're taking, but I know you want to live for real. Because I wanted to live for real, bro. My best fucking friend in the world, I lost her at 20 years old, bro. To a fucking heroin overdose, bro. And my mom, in her fucking mom's driveway, bro. And proper, like, the shit we were doing, bruv. And you know what's so funny is, like, when I look at the landscape of, like, what the options are for young people right now, it just, like, makes me think of my best friend, man. Because she's the only reason I'm still doing this shit, bruv. She taught me everything I know, you know, about being a woman in, you know, a media technical landscape. She taught me everything I knew about culture and sort of like international culture and its relation to like having international relations with different types of cultures. And man, like when I think about it, and I think about how much her death was on all of us in our community, it was a horrible experience for me. Because it was all of our fault. It's all of our fault when there are children performing at their own crucifixion. Like, to think that, like, even in my best friend's last moments, she still was performing it for someone. Like, she was performing her own death. And I see that happening right now under this Gemini New Moon for so many children, like so many children that I'm concerned for, because they don't have proper guidance, and they think these guys in the industry, and they think these guys with the checks and the people that they get associated with are gonna really give a fuck about how you're gonna make sense of the next 80 plus years of your fucking life post right now. And I write stories because I need people to remember there's a story being told about you, written by you, directed by you, authorized by you. And so many of the choices that we can make when we are from the generation that we're from, I know our mentality because I'm a part of it, bruv. We're just trying to live, bro. We are like the breath after being dunked underwater. It's like you don't give a fuck. You just want to fill your lungs with something sustainable. And I know we are aching for that at this time. But we need more individuals like myself. We don't even need more adults who are intergenerationally trying to talk to Gen Z. Like, I'm talking to my guys. I'm talking to Gen X, Gen Z, Gen Beta, Gen Alpha. Like, I'm talking to my guys. You know, and I want to make a structure for us that doesn't even include people who want to prey on us or who want into the fucking things we're creating and pioneering. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking to y'all because I want to make sure we're good. And so Tethered Studios talks about your tethered experience here on this planet. Amongst all the brilliant, beautiful things you will go and do, it will always be filtered through your tethered experience. And when there's so much abuse happening to the physical bodies on this planet at this time, when there are so many people who are still just 1 degree away from chattel fucking slavery, let's be real. You know, it becomes urgent to me. You know, it becomes so urgent to me. So I feel like this message is so important. I feel like I just want to make sure I provide an educational experience that includes those who were always excluded from educational experience. And it's really funny because if y'all knew me, like, probably proper, none of you would have, like, I mean, none of you would have been in school with me because, like, I went to a school for, like, the elites, like the smartest girls in Texas. So I really was, like, a big brainiac. Like, I'm like an A honor roll type of kid. But, you know, so many of my best friends and peers were on different spectrums of their ability to navigate American public education. And, you know, I was raised with a parent who, I mean, had a severe disability, like, you know, halfway through his life. And so different abled bodies have always been, you know, at the fore of, you know, the intersectionality of the education I've always wanted to go on. Like, I always wanted to make sure that, like, you know, having the perspective of, like, speaking to my dad, like, some people that I love the most, like, I always think, you know, I think to myself, like, anytime I've taken a big contract or a big deal or gotten a huge opportunity that is so not necessarily Black, but it's like going into these other spaces that just have to do with, like, what my soul and my gifts and abilities can get me, you know, I always think to myself, like, how could I, like, you know, I go and I do some shit with CBS this morning, and me and Nora O'Donnell are co-hosts for some shit, or I'm making a documentary with these guys. Me and Gail King are doing some shit. I'm 18 years old, you know, and all I'm thinking when I'm in these fucking opportunities is, like, bro, like, how would I describe this to my fucking first cousins, like, back in Austin proper, like, you know, my cousin DeBrico, like, you know, who has his whole life been on the autism spectrum, and it's like he can't, there's certain things that, like, there's certain rooms that I'm standing in right now that, like, he can't be in, but it's my job to translate myself in a way that connects that point to this point, that I'm, like, in Manhattan proper, I'm in Times Square proper right now doing some shit, and my guys are back here off in the trenches of Austin, like, you know. So it's not that I serve anyone or try to speak to any person's experience, but it is that I am the bridge that connects this. And right now I just feel like so many of us could either be in really high, unbelievable timelines, but, you know, and had to abandon our past selves. And then, you know, some of us have never reached that and are still, like, crushed and shackled, and the debris is falling on us as we are, you know, the sacrifices of our fallen paradigm. And regardless of it, I think all of us feel this yearning to truly connect the dots. You know, I think the definition of wholeness that I would describe at this time is that, like, I could come exactly from where I came from and be exactly in this expansive newness that's not tethered to fucking anything that I don't want to be tethered to, and still feel connected to both. And that's what I feel like wholeness really means to me if I was talking about spiritual health in 2025 when I'm filming this. And, you know, so I want that for everyone. I want, you know, I'm excited for my generation. I'm excited for our souls. We've got a lot of ascended souls that are here the same way we always do every generation, but some of the souls that are incarnating right now are here to help disrupt and clear out a lot of karma. So I just want to make sure, because you came here as a volunteer, you came here during this difficult time in the Earth's evolution to, like, help do work. I just want to make sure that my workers are good. You know, I'm doing, like, union rights over here, all Gemini season. So I know that was a little more somber. I hope that the cards have some other kind of information, but I wanted to say that. I wanted to be a real person for real. I wanted to just, like, again, Gemini season, I'm allowing myself to really talk about the things that really concern me, because I'm a child of Saturn, and when I see you know, things that are going to become systemic, when I see things that are like, this is really going to fuck this child's future up. Like, we can't actually keep doing the exploitation of like child stars. We can't like exploit stars at all, because anytime a star is exploited, it's just going to affect them much later down the line. So let's get into the cards. Oh, thank you, Creator Prime Source. The Gemini New Moon message. Thank you. Yeah. I think the Gemini New Moon is going to be propping up. I mean, there's just a completely different caliber of intellect when we're talking about people who speak with intention versus people who speak without intention, you know. This archive is grouped into a lot of large media spaces right now. Some people could call me a YouTuber. Some people might be like, oh, is it like a podcast? Some people might classify it as like streaming. Some people might classify it as whatever, right? And it doesn't really matter about the classification, because I think the thing that's going to actually put me in a genre for real would be that, like, when you listen to this work, there's such intention behind it, right? What I will hear on my platform has this sort of intention, and I get responded to, adjudicated based on exactly that. When we're talking about right now and the thematics, I think the first thing that pops out to me, which is so proper and so true, is, you know, you can also get on a fucking YouTube video and just fucking be like, gonna try on some fast fashion, or you could have no real intention. You could get on here and fucking mukbang it. You could fucking, you know what I mean, and eat like 90 Popeye sandwiches, some fucking crazy dumb shit, you know. You could do all of these things. And I think right now, we're really witnessing the fire that creates. Like, I think because we're back in this sort of primordial Saturn and Aries fire, I think right now it's really scary, because I tried to tell you guys, with Saturn and Aries, you're gonna be basically, we're building with a fire. Like, if you're building something for the next 3 years, you're doing it with a fire. So a lot of people are getting kind of freaked out, because I think they're feeling Aries push. So like, Aries is cardinal, so that means it's gonna like immediately go with its first impulse. Back to what I said about when I was hearing secondhand embarrassment. Right now, everybody, like, for the next 3 years, it's like everybody's impulses. And so a lot of people who are sick or out of balance, they're gonna initiate something. So, oh, I have an idea, initiate it, right? I'm gonna do that. And when I was talking to you about how in 6 months from now, when Sag is ready to pull up the wisdom, like, okay, you want to talk about what you were doing Gemini season? I have a feeling that, like, some people aren't really good with cardinal fire, so they don't really know that. And I think some people really could use, like, whoa, slow me down, because that fire is immediately going to start, like, boom, set that fire, and it's going to set something ablaze. And I have this feeling in this download. It's such a big message. It's like it has to do with your reputation. Like, some people right now, I think that's why I like cried for like 40 minutes before, because I'm just mourning for some people who I think are still, their consciousness is getting taken advantage of at this time, because they might be people in power, but like, I don't think they're aware, they're still spiritually illiterate. So like, some of the stuff that Saturn and Aries just made them do is like a fucking horrible idea. Like, not like, that's one of those things that maybe we should have tabled. But they are going to do it, Saturn and Aries, and they're going to continue to do it for the next 3 years. And I want to kind of get my material out to let you know, like, you are building with fire right now. And you just want to know that, just like, you know, I'm truly just Negro. Like, I truly am blackity black. But the only other real heritage that I actually have is my grandmother is like half Native American. So, which you probably could tell, you're like, this bitch has some fucking indigenous ways. So that's the only other thing, is like, I'm like, when I talk about Texas, it goes really deep with my family. Like, my family is equal parts like proper slaves that came from obviously the African diaspora, and then truly like Native Americans. So that's kind of like, and from the same region. So Texas has really been where my niggas have been for fucking about almost 10 generations. So, you know, we come from a very long line of guys who tend to like this soil specifically. And, you know, one of the biggest, most natural things to me is talking about working with the primordial flame. And you have to you have to regularly burn. You have to regularly control the environment. You have to know how to stoke your own flame. And I think at this time, a lot of people, and I guess I'm bringing in the perception of my like generation, because we just inherited power, Saturn and Aries, and proper, but at the same time, I think some of us are going to be still acting in the same way maybe we used to, or using the same residual power that we had. And then this power upgrade that many of you don't know happened, because you don't know anything about what we talk about here. You don't know anything about esoterics, metaphysics, none of it. So you don't know that that's happening. And I just think there's going to be like a lot of crazy consequences in 6 months for the way that this Aries, fucking Saturn and Aries is just like, because Saturn and Aries, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's like Saturn and Aries has us all lined up at a pool, like edge, and it just shoves you. Like, you just need to be prepared to be shoved. And so it's almost as if every thought that you might think could just, it's like, all right, boom, because it's of the fire element, you know? So there's not really a lot of deliberation. There's not really a lot of whatever. So again, before Saturn and Aries, you would have really wanted to get to know your impulses, because if you don't know what your impulses is going to get you to do some fucking dumb shit, actually. Saturn and Aries, because if you're just not used to like working in terms of fire, it could be crazy. So that's just like the first message is like Gemini season, like the people that are going to do proper, like my channel is setting very pretty. Like there's so much beauty that has come into this channel and into this studio just because it's a studio of intention, you know, and there are fucking billions of fucking film studios out. There's a lot of people got a lot of philosophy, a lot of whatever. But again, at this time, I just want to remind you that like the intentions that you actually are going into a situation with are what's about to like set a whole field on fire. So think of it that way. Like, if I set the world on fire with what I teach and intend for here, I would be happy. If we set the world on fire with what some of y'all do, which is like shit and fart and play a video game on the fucking shtick while you're just getting sicker, you're not even, we don't even really know much about what your real soul is doing. You're just like entertaining us. Imagine like, I guess the best way the Spirit is telling me is like, imagine if the world was filled with a bunch of yous. Would the world be a better place or a worse off place? If everyone else, if it was like we just replicated you 8 billion times, would it be a better world or a fucking shitty world? And I just feel like that's the only way Spirit's going to be able to tell you about the gravity of your will. Because like I said, the astrologers didn't prepare you for this. I think so many people are dealing with some heaviness right now. After, like, it's because it's like that. It's like you ever do something, it's like immediate regret. Like, did that, immediately regret it. Like, did that, I should not have done that. And that is like, truly, and that sucks because I know so many bitches like summer 25, and I don't think you girls are gonna have the summer 25 that you think you're gonna have, because a lot of people are just wounded children and like literally have not grown past like age 3. Like their development has not kept going. They were abused so fucking bad as a child that it's like it just stopped. And so I feel like there's a lot of storms that are being created right now with people's intentions and their will. You get what I'm saying? Like what people are intending for. And even if you're not really intending for something, like, right, if it's real subconscious, like what you're doing, you're creating storms. And I think the thing that you also don't realize is this storm is connected to how you will transform in 6 months. So it's not always cool to be in integrity. I get it. It's not always cool to be authentic, but it's that time is up. You know, we really can't have goals to just be entertainers. Like we can't actually think that that's like, because right now people think we're so diversifying the market in terms of jobs, and we're not. We're actually going to the fucking pits of hell. We actually just got rid of all job diversity, and now all anyone wants to do, bitches like fucking proper still sell like fucking the halal guys, right? Like they're still selling halal fucking foods, right? But now everybody's just turned into the only landscape that we know right now is entertainment, and that's crazy. Because if we're talking about, y'all ever played the board game Life? Okay, you know how you have a career card? So I love in Life because the entertainer like only makes like 30K or something in Life. And I just want to remind you that entertainment is it's a lot smaller of a needed role than we think. And I always encourage people, whether you're an artist, to like not just ever think of well, first of all, artists should never really think of their art as the entertainment that it provides. That is so far removed from what you actually do and make art for. Like actually, and that's what the studio is actually about. This studio is really for artists. And it's a residency program, and it is a network that I actually made for artists. And that's something that I define very clearly. And we have a lot of standards for, because it's not for the creative. It's not for whatever that is. No, it's like actually for people who walk the artistic lifestyle and path. And when you do that, you would know that none of the things you do really include anybody else, especially when you're in the deep burrows of your own artistic process. Most of that is just about the channel with you and your higher power, your what you channel. That's why you feel like you need to be an artist, right? That's why you feel like you have to be doing that, right? It's because you feel like you have something that you uniquely channel and into form, and you do, and that makes you the superpower and a superhero at this time. And I feel like right now we have even changed like the Monday, like even like our agriculture system. I mean, so much of everything has been reduced, and they've just put labels and jargon, but really what they wanted everyone to do is to dumb down the population to where we actually only think the valuable contribution that humanity has made is like entertaining one another. And I don't even know what that word even means, to be very honest with you. You know what I mean? Because when I consume something, or when I think about something, or if I'm looking at a very beautiful piece of art, like, it's just such a low frequency to be like, need to be like fucking stimulated, right? Like, and I think that's kind of what every industry is like turned into, right? I mean, I went to fucking proper 4 years of journalism school, right? Like proper, and you know, nothing about the ethics of journalism has anything to do with stimulating the public. In fact, journalism has nothing to do with stimulating the public. Journalism assumes the responsibility when the public gets stimulated. You get what I'm saying? And so I keep feeling the sense of like these kids who were abused, these generation after generation after generation of unhealed, deeply abused, deeply traumatized children growing into adulthood and botching the shit up, populating, and then duplicating and repeating the code. And now the code just got a giant break and reset, right? Saturn and Aries, fucking Age of the Aquarius, all these Neptune and Pisces, all these fucking crazy moments, right? Neptune and Aries, right? Like these huge outer planet movements, Uranus and Taurus, like crazy shit, right? So now we're getting these huge code breaks and that says we gotta fucking address how long we've gone doing this shit, right? And how long we've gone, right? Because I'm talking about my generation because I always like move from my experience, but this has happened every generation, right? But we've just gotten closer and closer, and I just don't think at this point we could have gotten any more homogenous. I think this is what capitalism wants to reduce everything to. One conglomerate monopolizing on everything. And so the only way to actually make superpowers that control everything is to make everybody's subconscious goal the same. So if we all actually want to, in the end, become entertaining, like if you actually just like have a small business, but you actually, because I saw this, right? Like you guys watched, back when I used to support my friend, my previous employer and my old friend, with her vintage business, you know, and I was doing a lot of creative direction there, like, you know, we always had talks about this because even she was dealing with, she's like, bro, I've been doing fucking vintage proper 20 something years. You know, she used to work on film sets before she started her own business. But, you know, she's like, I've been doing film, you know, the vintage every year. And she's like, we used to always bond. It was like, we just hate the fact that we feel like we have to, and it's like a service, right? Like fucking curated vintage clothing. All right. Fucking Texas Western vintage clothing is like fucking cunt, right? But it sucks that we had to like perform that, or that like there's now this aspect of like how good's the real doing on the Instagram, and then, like the business wasn't even made with the concept of like Instagram in mind, but like small business owners were dealing with this. And I used to be a business development and engagement manager for several chambers of commerce. Niggas don't even know what a chamber of commerce is. Like it's fucking crazy. Like that's what I'm talking about. Like I want you guys to know there's like so much diversity that actually still exists, but a lot of us are a part of the problem because we've actually tailored all of our abilities, even ones that have nothing to do with any sort of fucking adjacent arts and entertainment industry, have like turned everything into just like all we want to do is titillate and satiate, like just like tickling the clit, like that's all we can do. Like that's all. Like what if someone's just like flicking the bean and that's all what sex was, right? Like it's like that is how much we've reduced just like what is possible to serve, what we consider a service at this time. And so, yeah, you're going to be fucking unpopular if you're not pandering to that, because obviously nothing about this is fucking entertaining. You know, I talk in fucking truth. I really drop fucking news that bitches need to know, really. You know, and I hope that integrity is always upkept. But it's just, I think right now when everything has, like, even my fucking proper grocery store, right, bro? Even fucking HEB right now going into the fucking live music, fucking sponsoring fucking stages and shit. And it's like, damn, my nigga, can you keep the fucking prices on the fucking... Can we keep the serrano peppers down, bro? And I mean, I don't, you know what I mean? Can we go back to when fucking bananas were actually like 10 cents, bro? Or like, me and Dennis were talking like we saw some funny shit that was like, bring back fucking plátano for fucking 10 for $1, bro. Like, can we get back to that? Like, I don't need a fucking concert stage from HEB at this point. I need a fucking decent fucking proper price on the fucking goodies for real. You know, I need more Texas farms for real, you know? And so that's what I mean. It's like all of us have now been assuming that some part of what we feel like a divine service could be has to deal with something that is so low vibrational, and it really is like Age of Pisces. Like I don't really give, like we don't, you know, the same way that they try to buy you back and buy and sell you back influencing. Influence happens in nature. It's not a fucking job description. It's not a role. You can't be like, I'm an influencer. What? Aren't we all? If you exist in form, are you not constantly, like, none of y'all have gone to fucking biology before. You never went to class, I guess. I don't even know, right? So, anywho, we're causing this fucking storm, and I'm just getting this out with a Gemini, and I feel like this Gemini new moon comes with proper, like, what are y'all doing? It's crazy. So the biggest message is, like, Gemini new moon is, like, for the niggas who had a journey, there's endless prosperity right now. Like, crazy prosperity is about to come into you. Because, like I said, everyone ditched. I mean, it sucked. There was just so much force. I feel like it's like, you know, the 2020s came in, and it was like that second decade of this millennium, and it's like so many people were forced to conform. Like, so many, I watched it. I watched people who were proper Gen X, fucking boomers, fucking doesn't matter. I have so many friends across so many different ages, truly, and deep connections that I've been a part of, and I watched people feel like, you know, do I have a say in whether I just become a fucking tap dancing puppet? You know, I mean, we were talking not even just people, like I said, who do like recordings. I'm talking about people who work in proper small businesses and shit, you know, feeling that same pressure where it's like, I really am just here for the journey and what that gives me. Do I have to convert my business now into something fucking entertaining to make it more valuable? And I'm here to say, fuck no, dude, because I don't think we're healthy enough to even be doing that. First of all, like, I don't think we have the fucking range within. Most people don't do the spiritual maintenance to really be able to like sustain something like that. So we're just broadcasting crazy fucking shit right now. It's just not, you know. So when we talk about the recent past, you know, we have the new earth. We have the new earth structure that is now here. Earth is whole, right? We got to that place, which is why I think some of this stuff reverberates so negatively right now. It's just the same reason why I feel like right now there is just so much of this like intentionless willing of things really causing storms that are going to affect the prosperity that's available for you on your journey. Holy shit, Sabrina, you're crazy. Right, because that's what I said. All of us are trying, I see what we're all trying to do, right? We want to find a way to be of service, but I think the powers that be, which is really just us, but there was such a collective pressure for us to all conform to this idea that the only valuable thing we've ever had is when like everything is entertaining. Like, you know what it's just doing too much, you know? It's like when the fucking movie theater, now we want to fucking add recliners, fucking 5-star dinners. It's like, damn. Right? Because that's an innovation that came because it's like, yes, it leans on like, oh, let's make this experiential, but it also leans on like adding more aspects to like be able to just keep people fucking entertained, you know? And then we talk about how does the cinema suffer? How does it suffer when you're fucking chowing down on steak and there's fucking waiters walking in front of your shit all day, right? So anyways, I just have thoughts about how, you know, collectivism can affect like our desires, you know, and what we feel like is necessary at an individual level. But it takes a lot of growth for you to enact a path of service that doesn't listen to the noise. And if you are someone like myself, I'm just here to support you, that is still stayed in your integrity and didn't really change your formula and didn't sell out to become just mad fucking digestible because your team, your supporters, your whoever you're funding tells you that you need to start tap dancing more to just like keep your value up. I mean, I'm really proud of you because whatever minor hits you took, you're literally standing as a leader. Like, your shit is actually the only water available. There's nowhere else you can get the information I'm giving you right now, like I'm giving it. Because nobody gives a fuck right now. Like, who the fuck cares about kids my fucking age and like how they're ruining their life right now in practice? Nobody has time to care about anybody right now. You know, and I actually do, because the last 3 years while you saw me being homeless and fucking going without and not fucking buying into fucking late stage capitalism, not accepting a dollar from anything, not accepting any influence, I didn't have a phone for 2 years. I just got a phone again like 3 months ago, you know, for the first time. I didn't have a phone for 2 years, had been off of social because I was just, you know, I already did it, like, right? Like, when I was in high school, I remember we were talking about, like, dude, it was talk of the town, 2011, it was like, dude, what do you think this Instagram app's gonna be? 2009, Twitter came in, we were all making Twitters, Barack Obama following you and shit on Twitter. It's like, bro, like, where do you think it's gonna be? And I remember we all had to sit and watch and just see what this shit was gonna do to us. And I after going through fucking 15 years of social media, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna let myself, like, not just jump into every fucking new trend that comes in and just assume. That's why I stay off the TikTokies. I stay, you know, I used to be a Triller ass bitch. I was never really heavy on the TikTok, but I was on the Triller, low key. But even that, like, you know, there's certain things that, like, you know, you gotta have your discipline, you gotta have your boundaries, but there's so much leadership that's available because right now my lagoon has no shit stains in it. That's why I'm such a leader at this time. You know? And the only people that are gonna be nurturing at this time are people who are whole, who are, like, the earth is whole, I'm whole. That's probably why it feels very nurturing to be in this space and to go here, to talk about the things that are going on with this Gemini new moon. you know. But you know, I think it's going to be really happy because on the bright side, I think people are going to be really happy for the people that are getting success at this time, because I never came here to look like God's strongest soldier or like the most philanthropic, but it's like funny that I'm actually going to probably be positioned that way, because when people hear me speak, they're like, she's so empathetic to like the real things that are going on outside of us in the world. And it's like funny because I don't even feel like that's really like, but it's just because so few people are doing that I probably look like fucking Mother Teresa right now. But it is what it is, you know. I just, like I said, somebody had to care about the landscapes that we're entering into. And again, the intentions, you know. Can you be intentional spontaneously when God asks you to step up and rise up and do something? Yeah, sometimes it's going to be Aries, sometimes it's going to be cardinal fire, sometimes it's like opportunity. Is how are you going to do this? You got to submit something. What are you going to submit? Are you going to do something that honors you, or are you going to do something inauthentic? And in that moment, if you can't make the right decision because you haven't been in your wholeness and you haven't been nurturing yourself, I think a lot of doors are just going to remain shut. And I see a lot of people who are going to be really confused because I think they were really poured into, like into the 2010s, early 2020s. Really report into because they could get away with a lot of like intentionless behavior and just really like living off the vibe and the aura. But once people become more literate and more conscious, like that means absolutely fucking nothing. And a lot of the people that you think have amazing auras are pure demons. I just like hate to break it to y'all. A lot of y'all don't even know, like you don't even like, I think what people think an aura is actually like demonic frequencies. So a lot of acceptance to have at this Gemini new moon, because I think, like I said, I just have a feeling like you have to accept how you've transformed, because I think there, even with me, if this message is getting to you now and it's enlightening you things about things, that means there are still probably ways you transform that were unconscious. And again, this fucking archive, this studio is dedicated to things more conscious than I made this whole place because I used to be unconscious. I'm still unconscious in so many ways about what comes next, what parts of myself, right? And the decisions I make when I am unconscious and unaware of myself versus the decisions I will make when I am in an awareness of myself are completely different. And some of which are so different that I might be causing more harm to myself because of my lack of education and self-knowledge. And so I made this because I want you to know someone cared about your shit. Someone made, for the last 5 years now, I have been trying my best to dedicate myself to the consciousness journey, because it's not a fucking joke. It fucking sucks when you realize you've made a cataclysmic, embarrassing shit stain in your lagoon of life, in your fresh water supply. When you're just been shitting in the pool that everybody's trying to swim in, and that is your life, and you don't even realize it. And when you have that awakening, I just don't want it to feel like the fuck, because listen, my guys killed themselves, for real. I told you guys, no trigger fucking warning over here. My niggas used to off themselves, bro. They'd make a fucking horrid mistake because of exactly what I'm telling you right now. This fucking symphony of like where we are in the now is heavy, especially if we didn't, like, you know, we all come here, we go under the veil, we forget why we came here, and we forget that we volunteered to come here and ascend the earth and release karma and do all this beautiful stuff. But then we like kill ourselves because we forget we were doing that, and it's all heavy, and we have no perspective of why is it so fucking heavy? Why is everything so hard? Why is everything fucking up? Why am I such a fuck up? And we get there and it's like, oh my God. And I'm feeling the weight of that, like this Gemini new moon. Like I want to carry some of that for you guys, because like I'm not making the same mistakes I used to make in my life. So I have the room to be there and give you guys some grace and some humility. That's like, dude, I don't want anyone hurting themselves because of what they're about to become aware of that they just did, that they just incited under this new moon astrology in the Lord's year of 2025. Because it might be heavy. It might be something you're really scared to accept, that you're like the shit stain of humanity. Because I think there are people who are about to go from thinking they are a fucking historical figure in humanity to actually being like, I am actually the villain. I'm actually the bad guy. I'm actually like the person that's like holding us all back. So really exciting though, because I get to end this message with the fact that new beginnings are coming that you took action for. You know, I think right now that's the other thing that like Age of Pisces used to just like always, it always felt like some other organization, institution is just spewing out opportunities to a chosen few. So it used to always feel like, oh, just rely on that opportunity coming, that job will come someday, they shoot out. No. The only things that come now, the only beginnings that started, the beginnings that are actioned, right? The beginnings that you actually chose to create. So I think a lot of people too who are used to fucking getting random shit for nothing, right? Nothing in this life is fucking given, right? So the individuals who are in that paradigm, it's like they're having this awareness now that it's like, oh, okay, got it. The only thing I could really bring forward now are things that I actually actioned. So I just also think people are going to be like feeling really depressed very soon because there's no one's going to initiate new beginnings for you. So let's get a proper quick little tarot outro. Let's see what we've got. The card of the, oh my God, this is so beautiful. This is so beautiful because I want to bring it right back up. Like I said, I try to be sensitive because I'm reading for myself. This is so beautiful, but like, this is right now. This is the Gemini new moon for me, the lovers. And that's exactly what I told you about that Gemini message that I was quoting in the beginning, like the lovers. Like I woke up this morning and just had made proper love with my partner. And it was just like such a beautiful experience for me to just like wake up yet again under my favorite new moon and just think about the reality and that my love is always like who I wake up next to, and that I get to go on this journey with him every day, and I'm intending for this love, and it continues to populate. And you know, I'm grateful because I believe my love is meant to restart a whole generation. Like I think me and Dennis's love is big enough for people to go celibate, to fucking do the healing they need to do and close up shop for a minute and still feel like they can deeply connect to like true, authentic, like real aligned love for themselves, even if it's just fucking parasocially by fucking getting to witness, you know, how we have healed ourselves and became worthy of our own gifts and abilities that we've already possessed. You know what I mean? Like with that journey is so inspiring and it'll heal you up proper. And it was only through seeing divine love outside of me that I could recognize what it looked like and, you know, ask for it if I wanted it. And so to start this off with the lovers, you know, which is a Gemini card, is like, you know, the Gemini card. It's like, this is me. Like, it's so beautiful, dude. Queen of Swords, clarifying the lovers. Like, this is me speaking to the archetype. The Gemini new moon is for the lovers. And I also just want to say that I feel like right now under this new moon, you're about to come into union. You're about to get the proper, most authoritative message about how you were always it. You were always it. You always knew who was for you, you know, at this new moon. You will have always known who was for you. Crossing that, oh my fucking God. Yeah. Yaski. This and this, you're about to get a message. You're about to get a message. And it's funny because you know, there's just, like I said, honey new moon, we've done some crazy astronomical feats on the fucking channel, on the studio right now. But you know, the long running theme of like all of the material that's coming out of the studio is autoethnographic. And right now I'm in my lover era, which is probably pretty much what's going to be till I die. So to have made a studio around something that was a renewable resource for me, like my marriage to my husband is like actually renewable. And it is actually something that I've witnessed in real life. Like I built the studio off of our life because, like I said, it was a movie. Like it's not just like, I like my man, so I think people should just watch me like my man. Like, no, it's like how me and Dennis have always like shown up in the world and how we've affected our friends and our community and our peers. So, you know, that's really why I knew that these two characters that I could develop out and write this, you know, sort of write this story in real time through, you know, they were perfect. And I just feel like I'm getting so much big messaging. Like the Queen of Swords is about to have a huge message. It's like, hey, we want to talk to you about Two of Cups. It's two opportunities. It's an opportunity in each of your hands. You're coming into union, and I have a feeling that under this Gemini new moon, the union is being facilitated because of it. This is what I told you this at the Gemini season. This is coming into soulmate contracts, but it's like there's an opportunity. It's like, oh my God, we both got picked to do this, so we're both gonna be at the same place at the same time. It's like meeting the love of your life on set, meeting, you know, or meeting, you know, your new best friend through something you had to do. Like, oh, we both took this opportunity, and then, or we both went to this college, and then that's the kind of energy that I'm getting right now. Is like getting to develop out a partnership now through like an opportunity. It's very beautiful. Oh my goodness. And the journey. This is somebody who went on a journey, and throughout their journey, they planted the most seeds and created like a sense they have like a renewable resource that they can fill other people up on. This is proven. This is like a good investment. Holy shit, bro. What? This is a good investment. I'm telling you, I have been so excited and so meditating. Because like I've been really like feeling like I've done so much with the programming of my 2025 for the studio. I've been so proud of myself. I've really like mapped out like the next 40 years for the studio proper. And this year like came out of me like 40 years worth of work. Like literally, I if you guys knew me, like I'm a wizard with the shit. I work very fast and I do a lot of. You can tell. I mean, if you're on the post tab, you know how much I fucking write and work. And I was just really proud of myself. But I've been really hoping that the Children of America tour gets like seriously invested in, like in the way that I think it deserves, like in some Jeff Bezos' mom giving him fucking $250,000, like, you know, that whole production deserves its sticker price. Like I've gotten so many little ways that people, and you know me, you know how I'll do my productions, I'll get it done no matter what. Like I take any opportunity and turn it into a production if I need production needs that have not been met yet. But it's been one of my biggest prayers that particular tour really be met for its overall budget. because I believe it's so affordable. Like, I believe that the tour is like nuts for a year-long tour. The way that I wrote that, it's the biggest return on investment. So I've been really like hoping that the universe aligns me with someone who really believes in it to a point where it's like they really can just hit it off the top, so we can just do it as the original formatting. So that's kind of what that reminded me of, is like, you know, the wish of that, you know. And it's just beautiful because when you got to me, this is a surprise. I feel like this opportunity is coming from your soulmate, who's coming to surprise you and who's made an experience for both of you to share. I feel like this is like meeting someone who's coming to meet you because they want to meet you with an opportunity that both of you can share. It kind of reminds me like when I met my husband, right? When like we like literally we're a Tinder success story. Like match on Tinder to fuck, because that's why I don't know about you girls, but back in the day, Tinder used to be the fuck, bro. You used to be on Tinder and yik yak. You used to be fucking Tindering and yiking yak and so back in the day, that was what it was. But when me and my husband met for the first time, you know, it was like that. It was like Knight of Cups, like both of us bringing forward an opportunity for both of us to share and meet each other for the first time with the agenda of having fucking lethal, wonderful cosmic love, having sex. You know, it was amazing. And so that's kind of the frequency right now, is like, it's that kind of experience. It's so beautiful. And it's because you're the Queen of Swords. You're the only one who was walking down this path of service this entire time. Three of Pentacles. It's beautiful. So beautiful. This is exactly what I wanted. This is like the Queen of Swords wrote this out, and this is about getting it fully invested. This isn't just fully invested. It's like more than you could ask for. Like, I only needed, like, I think the fucking net cost of the Children of America tour is like $250,000. It's a year-long tour, mind you. $250,000 total for production and to pay us as employees, like our salaries for it. It's like, it's so cheap. It's like, it's dirt cheap. Like me and Dennis like took a small salary just to do it. And we were doing the whole thing, driving it, do it. So again, like I said, maybe that's why Spirit wants me to put it out there. It's only $250,000, like up front. That's all for this fucking 50 albums and 50 films. Oof, come on, dude. It's like somebody, come on, tap in. Tap in. I mean, I have the budget. It's like, it's literally, so it's like maybe 243, it's like 250K. That's it. For this entire tour, for a year tour. I worked my magic. I'm really well connected. I know a lot of guys. I know a lot of people, and just it's beautiful, bruv. But this is what I mean, bruv. You know, I think that this Saturn and Aries, you know, especially if you haven't done the work to get your attention off of the old world, when this comes in, it's gonna come in through this like creative new beginning. But you could also just put out, like, this is like that premature energy, because it's like Saturn and Aries gave all children back their birthright, but I had to try to like write the announcement out so like children know, like, you know, you're like your money and your values in your hands. But I think right now, because people are unconscious that shift has happened, there's just a lot of like people not really, I don't really know if it's possible for people to responsibly use their gifts at this time. And so I know that I really lead at this time because this is happening to me too, but I've been doing so much work for the last 5 years with this studio to prepare for this influx, for the floods to come, which is like people getting flooded with wealth. It's not a sad flood. It's like beautiful floods of like water that the earth needs, new earth water that's here to purify. But again, it's like, if you don't know your King of Pentacles and then you're sitting here looking at the old world, new opportunities are coming in that have this crazy primordial flame energy to it, and you have all this built up anxiety and trauma. It's like, how well are you going to be able to lead your life, is like what Spirit was talking about, right? And I think that's what I'm saying. I think people took some of those opportunities that were their opportunity, and I don't think they even enjoyed them. Like, I'm getting a lot of energy. It's like, you'll see whose dreams are really people's dreams for real, because I don't know if the things that people yap and say they really want to do for real, when it comes time to actually do it, like, I don't know if they even they themselves enjoy the frequency of their manifestation. So there's gonna be a lot of learning and acceptance about authenticity at this time, and about, you know, yeah. Oh my God, this is so crazy. The Empress and the Strength card took a lot of strength to come into wholeness and to nurture, but that's what I'm saying. Only real empresses at this time can really nurture the population. You'd have to be able to be taking care of yourself. That is why this is getting invested in, you know. And listen, I let people table my shit. I'm very proactive as a CEO. I love outreach. Again, I worked in the nonprofit sector. That was like all I really intended to do with myself before my spiritual entrepreneurship really like took over during my personal cycles. But beforehand, I was just consistently working in nonprofit Black entrepreneurship. Like, that's all I did for the city of Austin and for the city of Seattle. It was like really important to me, you know, that I was like, you know, getting into the framework of like the Black entrepreneurial network of business ownership. And So for me, you know, when I think about how much I really put in to make sure that also, like, I don't move from little Alexis's feelings, like, the studio comes first in terms of things that have to do with the studio, and I'm really proactive with opportunities and making sure that, like, this is connected. Like, one thing about me, I'm not gonna be a bitch about, like, putting my voice forward and speaking on behalf of the studio, because I really believe in this, and the studio is separate from me. It's not me. You don't gotta like me, but what the fuck I do with Tethered Studios is some real shit, and it deserves to be resourced, and it deserves to be funded in full for its full vision, because it's so needed on this planet for my country. Like, and I think everybody needs America to fucking shape up. So I think I should be at the top of everyone's list. If I'm doing something that will fucking change America as we know it, and I'm gonna give a gift that belongs to the citizens of this country, so that they can feel like they're fucking worth something, so they can show up now to their fucking, you know, 9 to 5 life and really be somebody, you know, then I think that's why the Children of America tour is so needed. And like I said, you know, closed mouths don't get fed. It's only $250K. Okay, so to my guys who watch this, who know, like, you know, once you're done with your healing journey, like, if you've ever taken anything from the studio at all, if any of this sustains you, dude, like, let's do it. Let's bring the guys inside, you know, because it would just be so amazing to be able to get that going. Like I said, we have the materials. I'm so excited. Like I said, this is just our archive page. Like, the YouTube isn't really actively portraying, like, what we really do at the studio, like, on the day-to-day. Because a lot of it is literary work, a lot of it is back end, a lot of it is administrative. It's a lot of that just, like, fleshing out the literary world, you know, of what we intend to become at this stage in my age and my evolution as an individual. So, you know, I'm really excited to share those materials. If you, like I said, if you really are interested, I'm very happy to send you pretty much, like I said, we're going to release the textbook itself of the Children of America tour, because it's the best thing I've ever published in my life. But I think that, like I said, the fear of being moved forward, the King of Wands, what we really create, accepting that we've created these things and there are new beginnings available for us. But the last card that we have here with the Gemini new moon, like I said, we're really out here trying to get the things done proper, is the Wheel of, it's amazing, the Wheel of Fortune. A new beginning comes because you're spinning your Wheel of Fortune. And so, you know, this one is for all the people that told me I wasn't going hard enough and I wasn't doing enough for my business, and I'm a fucking flop, and I don't pay my way, and I just sit in a room all day. I don't do any of that, actually. I'm constantly, truly working my ass off for all of us, not for myself, not to make money. I'm not doing any of this to make money. I'm doing this because I'm doing this. I know it costs money to do what I gotta do, but it isn't even about seeing a profit. I'm actually very comfortable with owning nothing, possessing nothing, and earning no income. I'm actually okay with that, because it actually has nothing to do with, like, the quality of my life at all. Like, it really, like, really doesn't. Because when you're a fucking phenomenal person like me, you get the best treatment. Like, everywhere I go, anyone who lends a hand to me, even my ops, they give me their best. They do, you know. My mom is evicting me, but she also sponsored the Honey New Moon. Like, that was her check that cut that, you know. So there are so many people that do pour into me and juxtapose me, and I will always take opportunities, like I said, to elevate this studio, because I believe in what the fuck it's doing. And we could talk about it. If you guys want to get into the actual programmatics of this fucking calendar, it extends. There's so much on the horizon here. And it's such a good time for any investor to see this and to know this and to push the fucking red button, you know, because I don't have any ulterior motive other than my country, myself. We've got to do better. We have got to be active participants in the creation of what comes next. And we literally just need to break code and stop repeating the same shit that is unsustainable. We just have to we have to pick a different choice, because we've maxed out the insanity. We have done the same thing over and over and over and over again, expecting a different result, expecting that we will be seeing some sort of miraculous Messiah. There's no Messiah coming down to fucking get us out of the shit we keep doing, you know, not in our interpersonal relationships, not in our life, our day-to-day lives, and not in what the paint strokes that we make together as a collective, you know. But at this time, I know that I need to step forward, because I am the person that's qualified. I am the person that is my age, of the new generation, that has done the work to talk about these things that have to do with giant, massive, visionary, genius level initiatives that are like MLK type, Malcolm X type fucking levels of, like, this is what's got to happen next. You know, this just has to happen next. And those types of things are ordained by the Most High. And there are souls that come here and do it every time. And I can, if you want to talk to me proper about where my soul is, if you want to read the chart, so you know I'm not lying, this isn't some fucking bitch who's coming on here. Read my fucking chart. My shit's like, this bitch is a genius. She's a fucking Aquarius stellium. She's a fucking 9th house stellium. She's fucking got this yod that's like, she is exactly who she says she is. Period. I'm here to do the math. I'm not here to fucking make some subjective shit. I did this shit for 5 years proper, without fucking any money down, without asking any investor to put anything down before I showed you the result. I said, sit on it. Sit until it's proven to you that this shit is real. Until you've gotten all the information you need to, before you, I don't, I don't want to do proper with the fucking capitalism thing. I don't give a fuck about that, bro. I'm trying to revive the life on Earth, for real. I'm trying to set us up proper for the age of the Aquarian. So I'm so blessed, and I'm so excited that at this Gemini new moon, I'm able to stand in my voice and enact a new beginning that I created, that I brought to life, that my husband has done. I mean, my husband, he's the future of fucking sound. So, because what the fuck are we gonna do with all the shit that gets fucking thrown in, that gets canned as soon as the shit really collapses, for real? He's already recycled the shit for y'all and create. It's you know, he's the only artist I really listen to. Let's be real, you know, and his vision for Dolphin Boy Records and for these ancient gods of sound. This guy comes from a big lineage of the gods of sound. Like, you again, if you guys want to talk about our fucking actual natal shit, you guys, any astrologer will read our shit and be like, these guys are not joking about who they are. Yeah, they're serious. They're meant to be married to each other. They're meant to be doing what they're doing. In fact, they're doing, yeah. So I love you guys. There's a sense of urgency with this one, you know, but I want to uplift the Most High, because nothing that is for you could truly ever evade you in this life. And I am so grateful to have been able to, like I said, I mean, I don't take it for granted. Clocking in for an hour and 20 minutes of an extemporaneously speaking, assuming that people are going to be continue the fucking full stream through and through. And I don't gotta do no fucking fucking tap dance for you. I don't have to do any of that, you know? I don't even gotta look pretty to do this shit, you know? Even though I'm gorgeous. But yeah. So it's like, it is so many things, but I have so many opportunities. If you feel like the nurturing that you've gotten has been so wonderful and so personal. I didn't actually even make the studio to do just like the ways that I touch you personally through the like archive on this YouTube. The studio actually exists outside of this YouTube. So I'm really excited for this YouTube and our archives. Again, all of the social platforms that we utilize, we always like really dump stuff after the fact. That's why you can tell there's not really like an etiquette. Like, I don't really give a fuck about giving you guys like a proper Instagram post, but I just try to slap down whatever the fuck is going on, because we're always doing so much IRL. So I try my best to keep you guys updated and archived, because I know that's important. I know that I come from a beautiful broadcast background. I know I've been permitted by the Most High to do this, to give my frequencies, because I've purified my vessel, and I really do walk in embodiment. But I really do at this time want to say thank you all so much for listening. Like you always do, I hope you found wholeness, comfort, grounding, and friendship. Please run the archive up, back, sideways, close your eyes, pick any video. They will all resonate. Spirit's got you. This shit has been designed by the heavens, for real. So I'm so excited to be coming into a new beginning with the Wheel of Fortune. I just truly feel, I feel so blessed. And so again, please reach out to me. There's so much that we need to keep doing. And I think now enough people are in like a, you know, they're dealing with the rubble enough that they're like, damn, this shit is sad. This is sad. The way this reality really is sad, because, you know, we've kind of expired out the entertainment pipeline. You know, we've done that, you know. And I want kids to think of themselves and their aspirations as like a lot more than just like keeping people stimulated. It's not a real goal, you know. It's not. It's like, so whatever. But yeah, bring back childlike dreams. Let's heal the kids immediately. Like I said, if you are at all want to be a part of this studio in any way, if you're an artist specifically who wants to talk about residency, who wants to talk about, like, we can get all that cracking. You know, this year we've really committed to touring. 2026 we have some crazy shit coming 2026. Some really big productions that we're really grateful for, some grants that have really come through that were like really amazing too, to like do some more like great adaptations of stuff. But I really want to make sure that, you know, the second half of 2026, we're really going to be able to get back into the swing of like the studio really starting to bring in back in classes of residents, and building up the network and family, because again, the tour is supposed to like bring widespread awareness, but we didn't want to